The genesis of the billion-dollar cryptocurrency exchange, which would later be intertwined with a dark web money laundering ring, can be traced back to 2017, a year marked by unprecedented growth and speculation in the cryptocurrency market. Beginning as a platform designed to facilitate user-friendly trading of a limited number of cryptocurrencies, it quickly gained popularity due to a robust marketing strategy and an intuitive interface. The founders, who had backgrounds in technology and finance, rapidly expanded the platform's capabilities, incorporating advanced trading tools and features that attracted both novice and experienced investors. During this period, the cryptocurrency market was characterized by extreme volatility, with Bitcoin reaching an all-time high of nearly $20,000 in December 2017. Such a boom catalyzed the launch of numerous exchanges, yet this particular platform distinguished itself through its aggressive expansion into international markets. By mid-2018, it had established offices in dozens of countries, securing partnerships with local financial institutions to facilitate fiat-to-crypto exchange services. Alongside legitimate trading, the dark web was experiencing a parallel evolution. The emergence of cryptocurrencies as a preferred method of payment for illicit goods and services led to a burgeoning market on platforms such as Silk Road and later successors, where anonymity was paramount. The use of cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, provided a layer of anonymity that intrigued cybercriminals, enabling them to obscure financial transactions from regulatory bodies and law enforcement agencies. This enhanced anonymity drove some users towards the billion-dollar exchange, where they hoped to launder illicit funds by converting them into various cryptocurrencies and eventually cashing out without raising suspicion. Simultaneously, technological advancements in blockchain analysis began to challenge the previously perceived anonymity of cryptocurrencies. Firms specializing in digital forensics and blockchain analytics emerged, offering services to trace and monitor cryptocurrency transactions. By employing sophisticated algorithms and machine learning, these firms aimed to map the flow of funds from wallets associated with criminal activities to exchanges like the one under scrutiny, thus circumventing the anonymity traditionally associated with cryptocurrencies. As the exchange continued to grow, it neglected compliance measures associated with anti-money laundering, AML, and Know Your Customer, KYC regulations. The leadership team, driven by exponential revenue growth, prioritized user acquisition over rigorous security protocols. Therefore, basic KYC procedures were either poorly implemented or outright bypassed. This served to attract a significant number of users who would later be revealed as participating in illegal activities, including money laundering, drug trafficking, and organized crime. By late 2018, multiple regulatory authorities began targeting cryptocurrency exchanges for inadequate AML practices. An investigation led by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and supported by the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, raised alarms about the exchange's lax compliance culture. Reports surfaced suggesting that the exchange might have processed millions in funds linked to illicit activities. Nonetheless, the management maintained that systems were in place to monitor suspicious activities, though these assertions were largely unfounded. In January 2019, a breakthrough in the investigation into the exchange's association with dark web operations occurred when a notorious dark web marketplace was shut down in a coordinated law enforcement operation. Authorities seized assets, including substantial amounts of cryptocurrency linked to transactions processed through the exchange. The operation revealed a complex web of laundering schemes that utilized the exchange as a conduit for converting illicit funds into legitimate cryptocurrencies. This financial trail aligned with ongoing concerns regarding the platform's compliance with legal and regulatory standards. The subsequent media exposure began to erode user confidence as allegations of money laundering surfaced. Analysts and reporters highlighted inconsistencies in the exchange's reported trading volume, positing that it might have been inflated to attract more users and capital. Simultaneously, reputable market analysts predicted an imminent market correction for cryptocurrencies, prompting many investors to withdraw their funds. This scenario restricted liquidity, putting additional pressure on the exchange's operations. By mid-2019, regulators worldwide intensified scrutiny of the exchange, instituting inquiries into its practices. The platform faced increasing pressure to implement stricter compliance protocols, which they attempted to address through temporary measures. Nonetheless, these efforts were perceived as insufficient by regulators. Thus, investigations lingered, underscored by growing international collaboration between law enforcement agencies and regulators in various countries. As investigations progressed, the exchange attempted to pivot its operations, seeking to improve its public image. This included a significant media campaign to promote its commitment to user safety and compliance, portraying itself as an industry leader in transparency. However, these statements contradicted internal documents obtained by investigators, reflecting serious flaws in their compliance strategy and highlighting inadequate internal controls. In November 2019, authorities executed unprecedented raids on various locations associated with the exchange's operations, seizing servers and financial records. This marked a significant escalation in the investigation, as law enforcement began to unravel the full extent of the illicit activities facilitated by the platform. Analysis of the seized data revealed extensive records of transactions linked to a vast network of criminal enterprises, notably those specializing in the trafficking of narcotics and stolen financial assets. As authorities tightened the noose around the exchange, a sudden and drastic event occurred in December 2019. An internal crisis erupted when crucial technical infrastructures experienced a catastrophic failure, causing the platform to halt withdrawals, resulting in mounting panic among its users. Reports surfaced alleging that the failure had been precipitated by a coordinated cyber attack from a rival exchange, intent on destabilizing the platform's operations in the wake of its growing legal challenges. Yet, the nature and origin of the attack remained ambiguous as the exchange executives began to circulate narratives minimizing the impact of external threats. The months that followed saw a decline in user trust and significant financial losses as traders scoured the dark web for functionality alternatives. Investors clamored for information, and social media platforms buzzed with speculation regarding the platform's future. The internal crisis also revealed tensions among senior management about how to navigate the rising threats, both regulatory and criminal. Allegations of insider trading, where executives cashed out beforehand based on non-public information, began to surface, further damaging credibility. In February 2020, amidst growing pressure from regulators and mounting user withdrawals, the exchange announced a decision to freeze all trading operations indefinitely. The proclaimed reason was a comprehensive overhaul of their systems to ensure compliance with international regulations. but many industry experts viewed the announcement as a facade to protect remaining assets from the impending investigations. During this period, it also became evident that the exchange had filed for bankruptcy, revealing debts exceeding $1 billion. As for the underlying financial mechanisms, investigations revealed that the problem extended far beyond typical operational inefficiencies. The technical architecture of the exchange was designed to funnel user funds through a series of nested wallets, obscuring the pathways of transactions. This method effectively delayed the auditing processes while enabling a small group of insiders to extract funds directly through manipulated transactions. In March 2020, following the collapse, specialized task forces, comprising financial and cybercrime experts, turned their efforts towards analyzing the vast digital footprints left behind by the exchange's operations. Blockchain analytics firms utilized proprietary algorithms to dissect transaction histories, aiming to trace the origins of funds linked to criminal networks. The outcomes of these investigations intertwined with ongoing legal actions against various individuals connected with the exchange. These included not only executives and founders, but also a sprawling array of associated cryptocurrency traders and money launderers who had utilized the platform for illicit activities. As the dust settled, the reality of the situation began to crystallize. The once promising cryptocurrency exchange, celebrated for its innovative approach towards trading, had unraveled into a cautionary tale, demonstrating the inherent vulnerabilities within the burgeoning industry. The intersection of technological advancement, regulatory oversight, and the ever-present shadow of cybercrime became increasingly evident, leaving a profound impact on the future of cryptocurrency exchanges and their operations. As authorities continued to analyze, investigate, and dismantle the complex financial webs, the learned lessons would shape the evolution of regulatory frameworks and compliance standards in what many began to refer to as a Wild West of finance and technology. The bankruptcy declaration of the exchange came after years of rapid growth and increasing scrutiny from regulatory bodies. The platform had been touted as a safe haven for cryptocurrency investors, operating with advanced technology and a user-friendly interface. However, beneath the surface lay a web of deceit and mismanagement that would soon unravel. Prior to the collapse, the exchange had boasted significant trading volumes and a diverse user base. It attracted both amateur investors and seasoned traders, amassing billions in trade value. Its strength lay in the perception of security, with claims of high-level encryption protocols and insurance against hacks. This perception was sustained by a series of marketing campaigns that emphasized transparency and user protection. Complications began when the exchange's internal audits revealed discrepancies in financial records. These shortfalls coincided with an uptick in regulatory inquiries from financial authorities across multiple countries. The exchange's leadership attempted damage control by engaging external auditors to trace the financial anomalies. However, the situation intensified as these audits unearthed irregular transactions that hinted at connections to illicit activities on the dark web. The dark web, an obscure part of the internet operating on anonymizing browsers, has long been associated with illegal enterprises including narcotics distribution, human trafficking, and money laundering operations. Investigations into the exchange highlighted its facilitation of transactions linked to notorious marketplaces where illicit goods were sold. This intersection of cryptocurrency and crime sparked alarm bells within law enforcement agencies. evidence indicated that a substantial portion of the funds circulating within the exchange derived from suspicious sources. The laundering schemes utilized a technique known as tumbling or mixing, where transactions were obfuscated in convoluted processes to disguise their origins. This technique employed a network of intermediary wallets, each facilitating hundreds of microtransactions that ultimately served to confuse the money trail. This operation made it challenging for investigators to trace illicit funds back to their original sources. However, the use of blockchain technology, which records all transactions transparently, provided crucial digital fingerprints. Cybersecurity experts were summoned to decipher the intricacies of the exchange's blockchain to identify transaction patterns. Their analysis uncovered exchanges between accounts that mirrored the timeframes and quantities characteristic of laundering operations. Specific wallets were identified that had previously been linked to dark web markets notorious for drug trafficking and illegal goods. Still, isolating these wallets required constructing a comprehensive timeline of transactions to understand the flow of funds. As investigations progressed, law enforcement agencies obtained warrants to analyze the exchange's server data. This data retrieval revealed a multitude of unencrypted client information that had been compromised through data breaches. The breach had potentially exposed personal identifiers and financial details of thousands of users, magnifying the crisis as identity theft and fraud became immediate concerns. The protection of this sensitive information fell under scrutiny, leading to accusations of gross negligence by the exchange's management. Efforts to track the illicit funds were met with complications due to the inherent anonymity of cryptocurrency transactions. Nevertheless, investigators utilized forensic blockchain analysis tools that provided visual representations of transaction flows. Subsequent analysis allowed detectives to map out significant connections between various wallets used in laundering operations. This allowed for the identification of key players involved in the crime syndicate. Internal documents acquired during the investigation portrayed a management team that was more preoccupied with profits than compliance. Legal and compliance departments faced funding cuts, resulting in fewer resources allocated towards regulatory correspondence. Signs of a crisis of governance surfaced, indicating a broader culture that ignored necessary compliance protocols. Despite mounting evidence and pressure from regulators and law enforcement, exchange executives failed to respond promptly to the situation, leading to prolonged exposure while illicit transactions continued unchecked. The culmination of these factors positioned the exchange on unstable ground. As revelations gained traction in media circles, public confidence began to wane. Users began withdrawing their assets en masse, triggering liquidity crises that aggravated the exchange's already precarious financial standing. As the situation escalated, panic surged through investor ranks, prompting a rush for exits that further propelled the downfall. Bankruptcy proceedings commenced, revealing that user funds exceeding $1 billion had vanished during the tumultuous period prior to the announcement of insolvency. Investigators discovered that funds had been systematically siphoned away from the exchange's wallets into an assortment of other accounts correlated with multiple dark web operations. Decryption of key transactions involved tracking the movement of this wealth into complex layers, including investments in other cryptocurrencies, real estate, and even luxury goods. All part of a further effort to conceal the origin of funds. The unraveling of the exchange opened discussions within the regulatory sector about the need for improved frameworks governing cryptocurrency operations. politicians and regulators, recognizing the importance of curtailing illicit finance in an increasingly digital economy, expanded dialogues on enforcing stricter compliance mandates for crypto businesses. Without tremendous legislative shifts, continued vulnerabilities within the financial ecosystem could jeopardize entire nations' economies exposed to such digital malfeasance. The criminal syndicate responsible for orchestrating the laundering operation capitalized on the weaknesses inherent in cryptocurrency architecture and the limited oversight prevailing in an emerging industry. Investigators faced considerable challenges in tracing the individuals behind the operations, as tactics employed focused on creating layers of complexity between various fraudulent entities. Yet persistence paid off, as tailored investigative units focused on dark web operations collaborated with international law enforcement agencies to dissect the intricate network supporting the laundering schemes. Technology played a central role in the developments that ensued. Algorithms for workshopping transaction patterns were not only confined to financial sectors. Numerous other entities emerged that specialized in tracking offshore accounts linked with capital flight movements. As deeper dives continued, traces of fraudulent addresses led to a pervasive structure of synthetically generated identities. Investigators spent months traversing through a web of shell companies founded in unregulated jurisdictions, purposely contrived to detach money from discernible origins. Forensic analysis of the cryptocurrency exchange also led to significant advancements in identifying patterns of risk within the digital asset landscape. In developing risk profiles, law enforcement began compiling data across various platforms to create searchable registries of entities that had consistently engaged in nefarious transactions. As a result, future protocols began to take form, advocating for enhanced standards of identity verification and anti-money laundering measures. The ramifications of the case extended well beyond immediate financial losses, igniting a broader conversation about the intersection of emerging technology and the evolution of crime. The exchange's downfall serves as a cautionary tale in navigating the precarious balance between innovation and regulation in the financial technology sphere. While digital currencies represented a promising avenue for financial inclusion and opportunity, the vulnerabilities revealed in this scandal highlighted the urgent need for systemic reform. Regulatory agencies initiated collaborative dialogues with tech firms to develop a unified strategy for mitigating risks associated with cryptocurrency trading platforms. Stakeholders, from traditional banks to insurance companies, began acknowledging the necessity of digital literacy and ethical standards in fostering a secure operating environment for all players in the economic landscape. The convergence of traditional finance with innovative technologies underscored the imperative to adopt forward-thinking approaches to combating illicit activity in cyberspace. Subsequent investigations into the collapsed exchange continued, as authorities remained diligent in prosecuting offenders involved in laundering operations. Probes into the residual assets led to a series of arrests tied to prominent figures known for their active participation in international cybercrime. Acknowledging the chaotic nature surrounding the rise of cryptocurrencies, various organizations developed comprehensive training programs aimed at enhancing awareness of cyber threats while emphasizing the importance of robust cybersecurity measures. The transaction history under review not only served as critical evidence linking participants in the criminal enterprise, but also provided invaluable documentation for understanding how digital currencies might be harnessed for benevolent purposes. As researchers studied these transactions, insights emerged that highlighted how blockchain technology could bolster transparency and traceability in financial operations globally, with significant implications for combating fraud and enhancing trust. In this evolving landscape, the challenge remained on how effectively to create coherent frameworks that adapt to the burgeoning complexity of the digital economy, simultaneously fostering security and innovation. As authorities pressed forward with a commitment to restorative justice and building more resilient systems, the lessons learned from the mysterious collapse of the billion-dollar crypto exchange resonated throughout the industry. The operation of what had become one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges, referred to here as Exchange X, was built on the promise of security and anonymity. Launched in the early 2010s, it swiftly gained a reputation for facilitating large-scale trading operations, providing liquidity to traders around the globe while claiming to operate under robust compliance protocols. Unbeknownst to its millions of registered users, Exchange X was intricately tied to an extensive money laundering operation that exploited the anonymity provided by decentralized networks and cryptocurrencies. Initially founded by a group of cryptocurrency enthusiasts, the exchange positioned itself as a champion of privacy-oriented trading. As cryptocurrency adoption grew, Exchange X expanded its offerings, allowing users to exchange multiple digital assets without rigorous Know Your Customer (KYC) procedures. This approach attracted a diverse user base, including traders, investors, and those seeking refuge from traditional financial institutions. However, these same attributes made it an attractive platform for criminals, who began perceiving Exchange X as a potential vehicle for laundering illicit funds gained through various means, including drug trafficking, ransomware, and even human trafficking operations. In the years leading up to its collapse, a digital underground ecosystem began to emerge, around which Exchange X became the nexus. Criminal organizations, operating primarily via the deep web and dark web, utilized this exchange as a channel to convert their illicit earnings into clean cryptocurrency. Operators turned to the fast-evolving landscape of cryptocurrency, enabling them to transact without the oversight typically associated with traditional banking. A case in point emerged as reports of a distinctive malware strain, dubbed ransomware Zed, proliferated. This ransomware targeted corporations, encrypting vital data and demanding payment in Bitcoin, which was seamlessly traded or laundered through Exchange X. Security researchers noted that the dark web marketplace for ransomware was booming, with ransomware as a service offerings becoming commonplace. Criminal syndicates offered easy-to-use kits for novice hackers to launch sophisticated attacks against unsuspecting businesses. Ransomware operators often took advantage of the encryption and difficulty in tracing cryptocurrency transactions. Exchange X, lacking adequate monitoring systems, inadvertently facilitated these exchanges by allowing large sums to enter its system with minimal scrutiny, leveraging its reputation as a pro-privacy platform. As the volume of illicit funds funneled through Exchange X increased, law enforcement and regulatory agencies grew increasingly concerned. Agencies worldwide, including the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, and the European Cybercrime Center, EC3, began investigating trends connected with cryptocurrencies and their use in criminal activities. Although initial investigations did not focus directly on Exchange X, patterns of money laundering noted through associated wallets soon drew attention. A significant breakthrough occurred when a known address associated with ransomware payments began to link back to Exchange X's wallets, This address, registered under a user on the platform, became a focal point in an investigation that expanded into the full functionalities and infrastructural weaknesses of ExchangeX. Forensic investigators employed blockchain analysis tools, revealing the complete transactional history associated with this address. By tracing these transactions across numerous exchanges, investigators noted a concerning pattern. The same cryptocurrency was moved repeatedly between wallets before re-emerging as a clean asset. Utilizing these tools, they uncovered methods employed by criminals to obscure their tracks. The technique, known as coin mixing, involved sending funds through automated services designed to obfuscate transaction history. Such services often pooled funds from multiple users and sent those funds to recipients in a manner that made tracing extremely difficult. While legitimate users employed coin mixing for privacy, deeper analysis showed that a substantial number of transactions on ExchangeX utilized these services for illicit purposes. This prompted deeper inquiries into ExchangeX's policies surrounding cryptocurrency deposits and withdrawals. In a parallel investigation, cybercrime units monitored the dark web's infrastructure, identifying a collaborative network of forums where hackers shared methodologies for exploiting cryptocurrency exchanges. Many users of the dark web forums carried out pump-and-dump schemes, manipulating the prices of smaller altcoins listed on cryptocurrency exchanges. It was found that prominent members of these forums had coordinated actions which resulted in significant price fluctuations, enabling them to profit at the expense of unsuspecting investors, many of whom had unwittingly traded on ExchangeX. This synergy of cybercrime and cryptocurrency raised alarms, leading to interagency cooperation across borders. Analysts compiled a detailed framework outlining the exposure points of ExchangeX, while collaborating with private cybersecurity firms to analyze potential vulnerabilities in the exchange's infrastructure. Was ExchangeX a mere victim of circumstance, or were there fundamental failures in its operational security that allowed criminal enterprises to flourish? The question hung ominously as investigators commenced their examination of ExchangeX's technical architecture. Simultaneously, authoritative bodies began to advocate for more stringent regulations within the cryptocurrency market. Calls were made for exchanges to implement robust KYC processes and to enhance transaction monitoring systems. Despite growing external pressures, led by major financial jurisdictions such as the United States and the European Union, ExchangeX remained unyielding, citing operational autonomy and the fundamental ethos of cryptocurrency as a means of decentralization and privacy. As investigations intensified, operational anomalies surfaced within the exchange. User complaints regarding withdrawal times and outright failures to process seemingly legitimate transactions led to increased scrutiny. It was observed that a group of insiders within ExchangeX was involved in unauthorized movements of cryptocurrency, withdrawals that were neither initiated by users nor logged within the typical ecosystem of the exchange. Investigators posited that internal collusion may have contributed to vulnerabilities exploited by external criminals. In response to growing chaos, whistleblower testimonies began emerging from within the exchange. Former employees reported concerning practices that included evasion of compliance audits and a culture that prioritized rapid financial growth over security. Allegations surfaced about users being allowed to utilize the exchange with minimal verification, all while administrators turned a blind eye to excessive transaction volumes that were indicative of money laundering. Furthermore, reports of exploitative structures employed by the operators to skim profits from trades exacerbated suspicions of mismanagement. While law enforcement agencies steadily gathered digital evidence, the pressure surrounding the exchange reached critical mass. Industry observers noted a drastic decline in user activity, accompanied by an uptick in withdrawals as users rushed to offload their assets before potential closures. On one side, traders anxious about the impending fallout sought to mitigate losses. On another, cybercriminals began strategizing their escape, preemptively moving assets into other exchanges or off-chain services to protect their gains from looming investigations. As the authorities began preparing for coordinated raids, including seizing servers and account records, the operators of Exchange X made a desperate move to obfuscate their activities. They initiated a token swap mechanism intended to introduce new digital assets, while allowing various accounts to exchange their holdings for new tokens on an unobserved blockchain. In a matter of days, as news spread regarding the impending crackdown on Exchange X, the exchange's servers went offline, leading to mass panic among users, profits lost, and the criminal organizations behind the laundered operations scrambling to relocate their funds in increasingly convoluted ways. The sudden collapse of Exchange X sent shockwaves through the cryptocurrency community, marking a significant turning point in the intersection of financial innovation and criminal exploitation. Beyond the immediate impact on users and investors, experts continued to analyze the broader implications of Exchange X's failure. Researchers emphasized the necessity for a multifaceted approach addressing security, regulations, and a profound systemic understanding of the broader flow of cryptocurrencies in criminal activities. The ramifications were felt not only within the crypto space, as financial institutions confronted the reality that these actions had cast doubt upon the legitimacy of digital currencies overall, intensifying discussions surrounding regulatory measures that acknowledged the varying dimensions of risk inherently tied to decentralized finance. The examination of the circumstances evolving around the collapse of a major cryptocurrency exchange, which was once valued at approximately $1 billion, unveils a complex web of financial practices, regulatory loopholes, and illicit activities entangled with dark web money laundering operations. This narrative dissects the underlying mechanisms, key events, and investigative steps that marked the rise and fall of the exchange, examining its impact on the cryptocurrency industry and shedding light on the broader implications for financial security and regulation. Emerging from the decentralized finance landscape, the exchange in question initially garnered attention for its user-friendly interface and robust trading features. Launched in early 2018, it quickly positioned itself as a key player in the market, attracting both novice and experienced traders seeking an efficient platform for crypto transactions. By 2020, the exchange had solidified its reputation, boasting millions of active users, extensive trading volumes, and a suite of financial products that included futures and options trading. However, beneath this veneer of legitimate operations lay multiple vulnerabilities. The absence of stringent regulatory frameworks governing cryptocurrencies allowed the exchange to exploit gray areas in compliance and operational enforcement. Transactions initiated on their platform were not only swift and cost-effective, but they also lacked comprehensive Know Your Customer (KYC) processes. This oversight facilitated the influx of dubious actors, including those seeking to launder money derived from criminal enterprises. Parallel to the exchange's rapid growth, data began to emerge indicating the rise of money laundering operations on the dark web. Cryptocurrencies, with their pseudonymous nature, quickly became the preferred medium for illicit transactions. A multitude of darknet marketplaces flourished, facilitating the trade of illegal goods such as drugs, weapons, and stolen personal information, all of which necessitated effective laundering solutions to obscure the origins of the illicit funds. Understanding the interplay between these operations and the exchange became pivotal to unraveling the ensuing catastrophe. In early 2021, reports surfaced from cybersecurity specialists analyzing transactions across various platforms in the dark web. Leading blockchain analysis firms began to identify patterns linked to significant capital flows originating from known illicit entities. Many transactions were traced back to accounts on the exchange. Methodical investigations revealed that substantial sums were being funneled through a network of anonymizing services, including mixers and tumblers, designed to obscure the origins of assets before being deposited into the exchange. These practices became increasingly sophisticated over time, employing a series of convoluted addresses and frequent transactions to confuse traceability efforts. In March 2021, a fresh wave of scrutiny arose when the investigative journalist who had been following the exchange uncovered a staggering spike in trading volume correlated with reported dark web operations. The journalist's reports indicated that a significant portion of the trading activity on the exchange stemmed from accounts believed to be engaged in laundering operations. Subsequent investigations by law enforcement agencies revealed ties between user accounts and illicit transactions on known darknet marketplaces. At this juncture, the exchange began to attract the unwelcome attention of regulatory bodies, prompting concerns regarding potential compliance violations and the exchange's complicity in enabling money laundering. Simultaneously, the exchange's management, under pressure from regulators, attempted to implement tighter compliance measures. However, these efforts were too little and too late. Operational frameworks that lacked a solid foundation were under scrutiny, revealing systemic flaws in not only KYC practices, but also transaction monitoring systems, which failed to detect suspicious patterns in the trading behavior. By mid-2021, a series of notable events precipitated the downward spiral. Rumors regarding the exchange's financial stability began to proliferate, fueled by the increasing media scrutiny and negative press. Speculators and investors reacted nervously, leading to an abrupt decline in user confidence. Withdrawal requests surged, further exacerbating the liquidity crisis. On June 10, 2021, in what would become a turning point, law enforcement agencies executed coordinated raids on multiple facilities linked to the exchange. These operations, aimed at uncovering evidence of the laundering activities, exposed extensive documentation revealing direct connections between the exchange and darknet financial operations. Concurrently, investigators seized a wealth of digital evidence from internal servers, exposing transaction logs, user account details, and internal communications that illustrated the conscious neglect of compliance measures by the exchange's operators. As investigators delved deeper, digital forensics provided a clearer picture of the operational mechanics that had allowed the illicit activities to flourish. Forensic analysis revealed the use of multi-signature wallets and increasingly sophisticated API integrations that enabled users to trade anonymously. Several technical vulnerabilities in the exchange's transaction processors had been exploited not only by malicious entities, but also leveraged for routing funds from unidentified sources. In response to the investigation findings, regulators across various jurisdictions began tightening the noose. The exchange's leadership faced mounting pressure as more evidence surfaced, indicating an orchestrated effort to sidestep regulatory obligations. In a dramatic twist, the exchange attempted to silence dissenting voices by issuing a public statement, dismissing the allegations as unfounded and positioning their operations as transparent and compliant. However, user confidence evaporated, resulting in a mass exodus of investors prioritizing asset security over self-identified motives of loyalty to the platform. By late 2021, the fallout escalated rapidly. Investigators from multiple law enforcement agencies collaborated, employing advanced data analytics and tracing techniques to evaluate the traced cryptocurrency flows emanating from the exchange. Complex algorithms were utilized to analyze myriad transactions that cycled through different wallets, leading to the unmasking of a conspicuous laundering operation involving several known and unknown actors within the dark web landscape. As liquidity tightened, the exchange faced further barriers to its operational capacity. Banks and payment processors, alerted to the allegations, severed relationships, further complicating withdrawal processes for users. The situation became untenable as panic-driven withdrawal requests snowballed into an unmanageable crisis, with users facing indefinite delays. The investigators continued their work, focusing on the operational integrity of the exchange, scrutinizing white papers, transaction reports, and user activity. The objective was to establish a comprehensive timeline of events leading to the eventual collapse. By December 2021, the findings indicated systemic compliance failures that had proliferated throughout the exchange's operational history. Given the critical role of digital evidence in these investigations, forensic analysts worked tirelessly to enhance the integrity of data collected. They approached data recovery with meticulous attention to detail, employing cryptanalysis and chain analysis, examining digital footprints from user accounts that coincided with patterns of illicit activity. The convergence of these data points ultimately painted an intricate portrait of how the exchange had enabled the very organizations it staunchly denied having any affiliation with. The investigation's culmination served as a testament to the growing relevance of cybercrime in financial ecosystems and the pressing need for effective regulatory frameworks. Authorities recognized that a multifaceted, interdisciplinary approach was crucial in tackling these challenges. Cybersecurity experts collaborated alongside law enforcement, financial regulators, and legal experts to develop comprehensive frameworks intended to bolster compliance and deter illicit activities across the cryptocurrency space. The saga of the billion-dollar crypto exchange did not simply conclude with its collapse. Rather, it initiated critical discussions on the future of regulation and compliance in an increasingly decentralized financial world, compelling stakeholders to address broad systemic issues intertwined with financial technology, privacy, and security. The lessons extracted from this narrative continue to reverberate through its aftermath, creating ripples across the blockchain landscape. In late 2021, a seismic shift occurred in the cryptocurrency landscape with the unprecedented collapse of a billion-dollar exchange that had established itself as a cornerstone of the digital asset economy. This exchange, known primarily for its robust trading volume and user-friendly interface, had garnered a loyal user base and was considered a key player in integrating cryptocurrency into mainstream finance. The aftermath of its demise raised critical questions about regulatory oversight, the role of dark web economies, money laundering mechanisms, and the inherent vulnerabilities within the blockchain-based financial systems. The exchange had experienced exponential growth since its inception in 2018, when it took advantage of rising Bitcoin prices and the growing interest in alternative coins. Its operational model included a centralized exchange platform where cryptocurrencies could be bought, sold, and traded. Strategic partnerships with various initial coin offerings, ICOs, expanded its portfolio and user engagement. As trading volume surged, the company implemented aggressive marketing campaigns promising security, liquidity, and a peerless trading experience. As events unfolded, increased scrutiny emerged, particularly concerning allegations of involvement in illicit activities tied to a prominent dark web money laundering ring. Investigative journalists began to uncover patterns indicating that a significant portion of the exchange's transactions may have been linked to funds derived from illegal drug sales, hacking operations, and other criminal enterprises operating in the shadows of the Internet. This investigation highlighted the nexus between cryptocurrency exchanges and dark web markets, where anonymity and encryption fostered conditions ripe for criminal enterprise. By early 2022, whispers of internal corruption, financial mismanagement, and reports of compromised security protocols began to surface. An unraveling of leadership roles within the exchange revealed an opaque structure characterized by insufficient regulatory compliance and a lack of transparency in its dealings with customers and investors. Legal challenges mounted as various jurisdictions raised red flags over inadequate anti-money laundering, AML, and Know Your Customer, KYC policies. The exchange's operational integrity came further under fire as investigators connected the dots between transactions executed on the platform and documented cases of money laundering activities traced back to dark web marketplaces specializing in narcotics, firearms, and stolen data. Anonymity played a pivotal role within these illicit ecosystems thanks to robust encryption technologies and the use of privacy-centric cryptocurrencies, which obscured transaction trails. Notably, Monero, known for its strong privacy features, became the currency of choice for many dark web actors. In March 2022, the situation escalated when a coordinated operation between several global law enforcement agencies initiated an unprecedented crackdown. The exchange became the target of an intricate probe involving the FBI, Europol, and various national security agencies, which sought to untangle the web of digital transactions linked to organized crime networks. Utilizing sophisticated forensic tools, analysts began to dissect the blockchain ledgers associated with the exchange, identifying suspicious patterns of trading behavior. Through blockchain analysis, investigators began to trace transactions not only for the exchange itself, but also across multiple wallets known to be associated with dark web marketplaces. They discovered that users had set up follow-on accounts using manipulated KYC processes, allowing them to funnel illicit gains into cryptocurrencies and subsequently convert them into fiat currencies without drawing attention. Technical investigations also revealed how the exchange employed a practice known as mixing, where transactions were obfuscated by routing them through multiple addresses to create confusion regarding their origin. This technique significantly heightened the difficulty of tracing the flow of funds and made it a staple method in dark web money laundering operations. The exchange's leadership faced accusations of enabling these practices, either through willful negligence or explicit policymaking decisions favoring anonymity over regulatory compliance. As investigators continued their in-depth analysis, they uncovered a series of internal emails and documentation suggesting a conscious effort on the part of exchange executives to downplay compliance issues. This information revealed deliberate actions taken to maintain high liquidity and user volumes at the expense of ethical standards, ultimately prioritizing profit margins over the integrity of the platform. The culture within the exchange increasingly appeared to embody a willingness to tolerate illicit activities as long as they contributed to profitability. The disturbing implications of these findings led to heightened regulatory scrutiny, not only on the exchange in question but also across the entire cryptocurrency landscape. Governments around the world recognized the need for comprehensive framework legislation to address the vulnerabilities in crypto exchanges, emphasizing the importance of standardizing AML and KYC protocols. International cooperation frameworks began to take shape, focusing on information sharing between financial institutions and law enforcement agencies to combat the growing threat of crypto-linked crime. By mid-2022, the exchange's decline accelerated as it faced increasing customer withdrawals prompted by reports of insolvency and fears concerning the safety of assets held on the platform. Rumors circulated regarding liquidity issues and the potential for broader systemic risks if users were unable to recover deposited funds. Apprehension among users reached fever pitch as the exchange suspended trading for multiple coins, marking a critical turning point in the company's operational viability. Amidst this turmoil, investigators launched a series of strategic takedowns on the dark web marketplaces linked to the illicit activities tied to the exchange. These operations led to numerous arrests, asset seizing, and the dismantling of infrastructures underpinning the criminal market. The fallout from the exchange's failure reverberated throughout the cryptocurrency space, prompting users to seek refuge in more established platforms while raising concerns about the sustainability of decentralized finance. In subsequent months, the fallout extended to regulatory bodies globally, emphasizing the importance of establishing clearer frameworks to govern digital currencies and exchanges. The crisis underscored vulnerabilities that paved the way for increased scrutiny, with authorities pressing for enhanced compliance protocols, tracing infrastructure improvements, and blockchain regulation. Investigative efforts revealed the complexities of cybercriminal activities, emphasizing the need for continuous evolution in law enforcement techniques to keep pace with the rapidly advancing digital landscape. As the investigation unfolded, the digital evidence accumulated included transaction logs, public wallets, KYC documentation, and analysis reports from blockchain forensic firms. The challenge of collating, verifying, and cross-referencing such a vast array of digital traces exemplified the daunting task facing law enforcement. They needed to connect the dots between seemingly interchangeable criminal operations and the strategies leveraged by the exchange to obfuscate and facilitate illicit funds flow. By late 2022, the legal intricacies surrounding the exchange culminated in a high-profile scandal. Shareholders and customers launched lawsuits against the company and its leadership, alleging fraud and negligence. Court proceedings brought to light extensive records of trade activity and internal communications that depicted a toxic blend of ambition and ethical disregard. As these legal battles permeated through the media, the narrative around cryptocurrency began to shift, highlighting concerns not just over individual exchanges, but the integrity of the entire crypto ecosystem. Meanwhile, as investigations continued, the dark web economy adapted and evolved. new marketplaces emerged that incorporated heightened security measures to counteract law enforcement efforts. Cybercriminals quickly tempered their approach to account creation, employing more sophisticated techniques to establish untraceable identities and implement enhanced security using decentralized networks. Whether operating in smaller groups or as part of larger organized crime syndicates, these actors were continuously refining their methods to evade capture and continue their operations. The tale of the collapsed billion-dollar crypto exchange became emblematic of the growing pains within the cryptocurrency sector. The lessons learned from this incident transcended the immediate implications, informing future discussions around regulation, security, and the moral responsibility of exchanges in maintaining the integrity of financial systems. In a rapidly evolving technological landscape that offers infinite possibilities for innovation, the case of the exchange served as both cautionary tale and catalyst for reform within the burgeoning arena of digital assets and their intersection with traditional financial principles. The decline of the prominent cryptocurrency exchange known as Arcadia began with technical anomalies that initially appeared benign, yet were indicative of deeper systemic problems. Initially launched in 2017, Arcadia rapidly garnered the trust of investors, positioning itself as a reliable platform for cryptocurrency trading. Its robust infrastructure promised swift transactions and minimal downtime, bolstering its reputation amidst an increasingly competitive marketplace. However, as the platform grew, mounting scrutiny over its security protocols and financial practices began to emerge. In late 2020, a member of the cybercrime community on darknet forums posted allegations of questionable practices at Arcadia. This individual cited discrepancies in the exchange's transaction records and alleged direct ties to various money laundering operations. While these claims were largely dismissed by mainstream media at the time, they initiated an investigation by various cybersecurity firms. More pointedly, the allegations reached the desks of regulatory bodies looking into the protocols followed by cryptocurrency exchanges to combat financial crime. As early as January 2021, Arcadia started experiencing technical issues. Users reported delayed transactions and unexplained account freezes. These disruptions coincided with a spike in unusual trading patterns, specifically in lesser-known altcoins that lacked liquidity. Anomalous trading metrics pointed to the manipulation of market prices, possibly facilitated by a coordinated group of traders, a tactic often employed in pump-and-dump schemes. Arcadia's lack of a robust anti-manipulation system became a focal point for analysts and raised red flags regarding the exchange's ability to monitor its trading environment effectively. By the spring of 2021, with the platform on shaky ground but still operational, investigations into the exchange led to a deeper understanding of its financial underbelly. Analysts uncovered substantial connections between Arcadia and known darknet market operations. This revelation raised questions surrounding the broader implications of cryptocurrency usage within illicit economic environments. The investigations revealed that a significant number of transactions processed over Arcadia were traced back to digital wallets associated with dark web marketplaces notorious for drug trafficking, weapons sales, and money laundering. In an attempt to avert disaster, Arcadia's leadership stated their intention to strengthen security measures and regulatory compliance. However, these claims were met with skepticism, particularly among industry insiders who observed that the necessary changes were rarely implemented in practice. As investigative journalists delved deeper into Arcadia's operations, they unearthed evidence of weak Know Your Customer (KYC) protocols, allowing users to operate without stringent identification verifications. This discrepancy not only rendered the platform susceptible to exploitation by criminal elements, but also left it vulnerable to regulatory scrutiny. Simultaneously, an anonymous volunteer network began monitoring the dark web, aiming to document transactions emanating from Arcadia's wallets. This network, made up of cryptocurrency enthusiasts and former law enforcement personnel, employed sophisticated blockchain analysis tools to track the flow of funds. Their tracking efforts revealed a complex web of transactions involving hundreds of cryptocurrency addresses linked to various dark web markets. Each transaction created a digital footprint, but the anonymity of cryptocurrency made tracing these funds lengthy and complicated. As the investigations escalated, it became apparent that Arcadia was embroiled in a sophisticated money laundering operation that embraced both traditional and digital methods. Fund transfers were channeled through mixers, services designed to obfuscate the origin of transactions, allowing illicit proceeds to intermingle with legitimate funds. These mixers operated on both the clear web and the dark web, rendering further tracing efforts increasingly convoluted. In August 2021, a significant breach of user data at Arcadia was reported. Hackers exploited vulnerabilities within the platform to access sensitive information, which they subsequently attempted to sell on various dark web forums. The exposure of user data brought Arcadia under increased scrutiny, triggering government investigations into its operational legitimacy. Law enforcement agencies initiated a crackdown on user accounts associated with known illicit activities, resulting in a substantial number of accounts being frozen pending further investigation. Sustained media coverage of the platform's deteriorating condition culminated with a series of lawsuits filed by irate users claiming financial losses due to the platform's unreliable service. Legal proceedings initiated a wave of negative publicity that amplified calls for regulatory action against Arcadia. Investors began withdrawing their funds, prompting further operational strain and amplifying the existing issues of liquidity. As investigative efforts ramped up, prominent blockchain analytics firms began cooperating with law enforcement agencies, providing insights into the patterns associated with the transactions linked to Arcadia. The data analytics involved heuristic methods to identify anomalous trading patterns while leveraging machine learning algorithms to predict future transaction behaviors. These insights illuminated illicit use cases for cryptocurrencies and underscored the risk of digital currencies being tangential to broader criminal enterprises. To confront the mounting external pressures, Arcadia's management enlisted the help of cybersecurity experts to audit the platform's technology stack. Through this audit, vulnerabilities were identified, yet remediation proved to be a labor-intensive and challenging process. The approaches employed included updating encryption standards, revising transaction monitoring frameworks, and implementing more rigorous KYC procedures, though the effectiveness of these changes bore heavy skepticism given prior inactions. By the end of 2021, ongoing investigations reached critical mass, triggering a multi-agency task force that comprised elements from various national and international law enforcement organizations. Combining resources and expertise, this coalition sought to dismantle the underlying money laundering infrastructure connected to Arcadia. A necessity for coordinated global efforts arose as initial forensic analysis of the blockchain demonstrated interconnectivity to illicit drug trafficking operations spanning continents expanding the investigation into a worldwide hunt for the individuals orchestrating the operation. Concurrently, emerging information revealed ties back to a centralized syndicate operating within the cryptocurrency realm, raising alarms about the integration of traditional criminal methodologies into modern digital frameworks. This organization utilized an extensive network of front-end exchanges and illicit services, enabling them to convert cryptocurrencies into fiat currencies while maintaining operational anonymity. Their modus operandi highlighted the vulnerabilities of existing financial systems amidst an evolving digital landscape dominated by decentralized technologies. In the early months of 2022, investigations led to the identification of key figures within this syndicate, who were allegedly managing operations from jurisdictions with lax regulatory environments. Armed with this intelligence, law enforcement agencies prepared to execute a series of coordinated operations aimed at apprehending those responsible and disrupting their financial networks. However, as the task force prepared to move forward, Arcadia's leadership announced an unexpected pause in operations due to technical difficulties. The sudden suspension of operations translated into heightened concern among users and law enforcement alike. With funds still trapped within the platform, users were left vulnerable, while authorities contemplated the potential for massive losses within the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Cryptographic evidence collected during the preceding investigations began to require urgent analysis as transactions associated with Arcadia threatened to flood ancillary smaller exchanges with ill-gotten digital assets. As summer of 2022 approached, the mounting anxieties coalesced as rumors propagated through various online communities, indicating a catastrophic failure of the Arcadia exchange. This was soon substantiated by analysis of blockchain activity, which revealed attempts to liquidate large quantities of digital assets linked to user accounts. These exchanges lacked appropriate security measures, creating additional vulnerabilities while heightening fears of wide-scale theft. Investigative efforts aimed at retroactively identifying the movement of these assets employed various forensic tools, ultimately tracing outflows back to identified accounts associated with the original darknet laundering operation. Each lead painstakingly examined each transaction, including transaction fees, timestamps, and addresses involved, revealing a stark, criminally driven nexus operating beneath the surface. Behavioral analytics flagged the potential risks tied to account holders while providing insights into patterns of activity that were direct indicators of illicit engagement. As investigations progressed, the mounting evidence culminated in a multi-agency raid on several locations believed to be affiliated with the Arcadia money laundering syndicate. However, when search warrants were executed, agency officials were met with only empty offices, and critical technology, including servers and storage devices, had been hastily relocated. With each new development, the investigation into Arcadia's collapse escalated in complexity, calling for collaborative efforts among regulatory bodies, law enforcement agencies, and forensic analysts. The shifting dynamics of the investigation revealed the extensive implications of cryptocurrency fraud and posed questions about the responsibility of cryptocurrency exchanges in securing their platforms against nefarious schemes. In the aftermath of the raid, as the task force delved into threadbare data obtained during their investigations, a clearer picture of the intricate ecosystem each player operated within began to emerge. Digital traces layered over traditional crime methodologies served to illustrate the evolving challenges of controlling an increasingly decentralized financial technology landscape. The events surrounding the collapse of the billion-dollar crypto exchange, which will be referenced as Cryptex, began to unfold in early 2022. Cryptex was established in 2019 and quickly rose to prominence in the volatile market of cryptocurrency exchanges. The platform facilitated the trading of various digital assets including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and lesser-known altcoins. By early 2022, Cryptex boasted millions of users and a reported market capitalization exceeding $1 billion. As confidence in cryptocurrencies surged, so did the activity within the platform, attracting both legitimate traders and those with nefarious intentions. In the months leading up to the collapse, the crypto market experienced unprecedented growth, with Bitcoin prices nearing record highs. This surge attracted a myriad of new investors, many of whom were inexperienced and unaware of the potential risks associated with trading in unregulated markets. While the crypto boom was a boon for the exchange, it also attracted the attention of criminal organizations who recognized the opportunity for money laundering and other illicit activities. Analysts suggest that in the background of the exchange's rapid growth, a complex network of cryptocurrency transactions began to emerge. Investigations later revealed that a significant portion of funds flowing through Cryptex was linked to activities on the dark web. These activities included drug trafficking, human trafficking, and other forms of organized crime, which relied heavily on anonymous payment methods. Cybercriminals utilized the opaque nature of cryptocurrency to conduct transactions that could not easily be traced. The technical mechanisms employed to facilitate these transactions involved mixing services and privacy coins. Users often utilized mixing services to obfuscate the origin of their funds, making it challenging for law enforcement to trace illicit transactions back to their sources. Furthermore, privacy coins such as Monero and Zcash became increasingly popular among those engaged in illegal activities, as they offered enhanced privacy features compared to traditional cryptocurrencies. Criminal enterprises began to flow funds through Cryptex in small, seemingly innocuous amounts, which further obscured their activities. By mid-2022, law enforcement agencies around the world began to take notice of the unusual surge in transactions associated with Cryptex. Following reports from financial watchdogs and intelligence agencies, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, initiated an investigation into the exchange. Under scrutiny, the exchange's leadership became increasingly concerned about potential regulatory fallout. Despite their efforts to distance the platform from illegal activity, evidence began to surface indicating that the exchange was not only a facilitator of legitimate trades, but also a significant avenue for money laundering. The investigations revealed that prominent figures in darknet marketplaces were using Cryptex as a financial conduit. Transactions linked to dark web marketplaces were detected, raising alarms among financial institutions and prompting a deeper examination of the exchange's operations. Regulators initiated a series of inquiries into Cryptex's compliance with anti-money laundering (AML) protocols. Reports emerged revealing that the exchange had allegedly failed to implement adequate Know Your Customer (KYC) measures, which would have enabled them to identify and monitor high-risk users. As the investigation intensified, Cryptex's internal compliance team was unable to manage the inbound scrutiny effectively. A surge in user withdrawals began to occur as account holders expressed concerns over the platform's stability, raising liquidity issues. Existing customers began to withdraw funds at alarming rates, prompting the exchange to implement temporary withdrawal limits, which further eroded user trust and confidence. Concurrently, cryptography experts and cybersecurity analysts were analyzing the patterns of transactions associated with the exchange. Through advanced blockchain analysis, they were able to identify clusters indicating suspicious activities. The analytics revealed common addresses and transaction patterns that were indicative of a larger, coordinated effort to launder money using multiple layers of obfuscation. The methodologies employed by cybercriminals began to emerge, showcasing a high-level understanding of blockchain technology and the vulnerabilities inherent within it. As evidence mounted, former employees of Cryptex began to leak information suggesting that the exchange's operational infrastructure was riddled with vulnerabilities. Reports indicated inadequate security protocols, which left user accounts susceptible to hacking. These revelations coincided with an increasing number of cyber breaches targeting exchanges worldwide, raising questions about the ability of cryptographic solutions to safeguard digital assets. Threat intelligence pointed to rogue hacker groups attempting to infiltrate the exchange's environment to exploit these vulnerabilities during a time of heightened activity. The culmination of these investigative efforts